home in the mirror, reporting live, brought to you, it's storming outside and this is going on. Were you that kid?
My bedroom, the door was like the other side of the door was the living room. So I could hear the news. The news was always on.
Wow.
Morning, noon, and night. So like 60 minutes, I could hear it. And I wanted to watch that. I didn't want to watch HBO.
Yeah.
Even then I was interested in like, how does that work? How it works is you send a bunch of resume tapes out.
Yeah.
They look at about 13 seconds of it and you get told no a lot.
Wow.
This Rich Noonan guy was like, well, what the heck are you doing here? And I was I'm here to get your job. Like just to laugh, like just as a laugh, right?
I love it.
And I do remember then flying into Nice and thinking like, this is something no one that I know will have the opportunity to do. Part of Philly that people always forget is the honesty. No one is screaming nonsense. And I think passion with gift is a perfect combination.
Come on now.
So I'm like, if you can do it and you want to do it, you will. I'm not really close with my mom, so I didn't really have anywhere to go over the summers in college. My dad was overseas, and so there was one time I got fired from my like summer-long nanny job, and I had to like sleep in a car that night with all my stuff, my college stuff. And I was like trying to figure out where am I headed? Like, am I gonna go, whose couch am I headed to?
There's no party like a Jenn party.
Jenn checked it out yesterday.
To get their brains a moving and butts over the edge. Okay, arms out.
Cross, hit that weight.
Oh gosh.
And...
Welcome back to Showtime Speaks to Keep Going podcast. Kenny, we got Jenn in the building.
Talk.
3, 2, 1, come on! Oh my goodness, we got a special guest in the building, all the way from Fox 29. Stop playing, we got Jenn Fredrick in the building. But before we even introduce her, I got a big introduction. Philly, make some noise. Today's guest is the heartbeat of Good Day Philadelphia, sunny Buffalo grad. We got Fox 29 in the building since she was working with them since 99. She energizes your morning. She's told stories in English. She's told stories in Spanish, from Texas to Virginia to New York to Philly. She's a mom of two, a Florida native turned Montgomery County neighbor. Stop playing. We got her in the building. Philly, what's up?
Stop playing.
How you doing?
Stop playing with us.
First of all, you could be my agent, and you should be my agent, right?
Come on now.
How are you guys?
This is great, Jenn.
Normally I'm like the person we leave behind, drag behind a boat, as you just saw.
Yeah.
So it's nice to get a nice welcome. You guys are awesome.
You're on the other side of greatness right now.
Yeah.
Welcome to Showtime Speaks to Keep Going podcast. This is extremely special to have such a icon, staple in Philly. Somebody who just... Oh my goodness, this is special. This is iconic. This is special, and I can't wait for people to hear this episode. If people don't know who Jenn Fred is, who is she? And we can't forget, big shout out to the sponsor, Cozy Jeweler, the jeweler that keeps us cool. Oops, I meant cozy. Stop playing. Step up to the 5 C's: color, clarity, cut, carat, cozy, diamond. Follow him for more at cozyjewels.com. Come on, man, go spend that money with him.
I don't know. It's funny. I like to say I'm everyone's best friend because I don't want people without a best friend. That sounds cheesy, but I know we're going to get cheesy at some point today. But I like to say I'm everyone's best friend. And it's funny. I said, I'm usually like dragging behind the boat. You got to have someone behind if you're going to have someone lead, right? Yeah. So I think I just like being in the mix. FOMO. I do have a fear of missing out, right? Like I wake up, damn, did I miss something? Oh, I gotta go. And so I think a big part of what I love being is a part of Philadelphia, a part of this crew. Like you said, I didn't grow up here. I grew up on a beach barefoot in Florida. So it's fun to have a crew. And I love being part of it.
Yeah, what's up? Talk
By the way,
us, man.
she's one of my favorite people.
I'm already knowing, bro.
One of my favorite
She's here because
people.
of you, bro. You made this happen, bro.
Favorite people. But Jenna, I just want to know, like, where did it all start for you? I know you're from Florida. Like, where did the whole journalism journey start for you?
So, okay. I was at Florida State.
Yeah.
My parents were divorced, and my whole life I wanted to be on TV. But, in the olden days, the 90s, it was like Miss America's you got to be tall, you got to have like a great body. It was the aesthetic, and I never had that. And so, I was smart. So I started actually in aeronautical engineering. I speak a couple languages, so I thought I was going to be a spy. Wow. I was going to get on the plane, fly in, you don't know. And like, I wanted to be in Russia. I wanted to be a spy. And part of that too is I didn't want to be at home anymore. I have a twin brother, little sister. And my home life was not always great, right? Yeah. So I was like, I'm going to get on that plane. But in the back of my brain, I was always like, I feel like I could be on TV. And again, this is olden days when it was like Katie Couric and all that other stuff. And so one Christmas, there was this dude. He was the dad of a friend. He's kind of like a Howard Eskin type, right? We all went to his house because his daughter was our friend, and we all changed our majors to journalism. This is before the internet grades. Kids, there used to be no internet grades. So my parents didn't see it for 6 months. And when they found out that I changed from engineering to English is what I majored in, I had to repay all my college. So I had to work like TGI Fridays during the morning, telemarketing at night, and had to repay all the money. And after that, they didn't pay a cent for college because they didn't believe in it. Wow. My parents are engineers. They like sell nuclear power plants. And so at some point, my dad moved to South Africa. And I did not sleep a night in my mom's home after I was 17 years old. Wow. So I was just trying to figure out where I was going to sleep. Who's taking me in? I definitely slept on everyone's couch. And I transferred a couple places, ended up at SUNY Buffalo, and just did internships. And for some reason, I think because I had no, college scholarship, I had no place to go, and I had a little bit of like, they haven't told me no yet, right? So I was like, okay, I'm going to keep cooking in school. This will be great. So I always got really good grades in school. And because of that, I was able to get internships. And then I got my first job in Laredo, Texas.
Wow.
That's love.
I just want to know this though, Jen. How did you feel about that though? How did you feel like your parents wanted you to do one thing, but you had a dream to do this thing? Like how did you get past that to just go after your dream?
This episode is brought to you by Next Level Physical Therapy, and their mission is to eliminate your pain from your deepest point. Combinations from hands-on physical therapy, functionally based exercise, and selected complementary treatments. Instrument-assisted soft tissue mobilization, dry needling to therapeutic cupping. They have locations from Jersey to Philadelphia surrounding areas. Visit their website for more information at mynextlevel.com. That is LVL.com.
It's interesting. My parents, I'm the oldest of four. I have a twin brother, and I was always being told, you have to babysit, you have to do this, you have to drive the kids to wherever they're going. So I think I was always in that way rebelling because who wants to babysit? We're not getting paid, right? And so I think it was just the cool thing about journalism and being on the news, and certainly I'm doing a little bit more of it now, is you get to show your brain on TV, right? So when you guys know, you see someone smart on TV, you're like, damn, she's smart. Yeah. So I thought that part of it could blend in with the engineering, academic stuff. Yeah. My parents didn't like that. They didn't see it. My dad is still like, did you get fired yet? But I just basically wasn't willing to listen to their plan. I don't know why. Again, there was a lot of stuff they did when I was a kid that I didn't agree with. So I was never the person that was going to be like my mom, like my dad, go the right way. And, it doesn't mean I didn't, when we had Officer Friendly, at our school, when he told me if you smoke pot, you're going to be a heroin addict, I listened. I was like, I cannot do this, So in that way, like, I didn't, overwrite checks. What do you call that? Like, I didn't mess around with like anything legal or anything like that. But the other part of the world, I definitely am a rule breaker.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. What was that moment that, I'm built for this. Like, I can do this. Like, what moment, like, up until, like, your career, like, what was that moment that really stands out the most and said, like, you know what? I'm here.
Well, so even today, I still am like, I don't know if I'm supposed to be here. But, how it works is you send a bunch of resume tapes out. They look at about 13 seconds of it, and you get told no a lot. Wow. So when I finally got my job, I drove my Nissan Sentra down to Texas, and even then they were like, you need more makeup, you need a shorter skirt, you need a tighter top.
Yeah.
I was like, is this, they wanted me to look cute. And I was like, I'm kind of here for my brains.
Yeah,
you missed that part.
Yeah.
So I will say, once I started doing interviews with people and I would talk to them, certainly I did some stuff on prison gangs and I went in, Texas has a pretty healthy prison population.
Yeah.
And so once I was talking to them and then, you would see it and people on the street would say, I'm so glad you had that conversation with that guy.
Yeah.
And then maybe early in my career, Geraldo Rivera had a show, right? And so the promotion guy sent my tapes up and I got to go to New York and be on his show as like an investigative journalist. And it was funny because I was like 22 and these investigative journalists were like 52. And, I wore my like journalism outfit. I wore my little suit and everything. These people are like looking cool, like how I dress on TV now.
Yeah.
But it was very cool because like the Geraldo producers met me at the airport. There was a car. They gave me my like $100 per diem.
Voucher.
I thought I was very, very fancy. So maybe then, and then I have to say like later in life, I got to cover the Cannes Film Festival for Fox before COVID. And I do remember then flying into Nice and thinking like, this is something no one that I know will have the opportunity to do.
Yeah.
So I think it comes and goes and there's different opportunities, certainly, we go to Super Bowls and, we go to the World Series and those are just like, you don't get to do that.
Yeah,
right.
Sure. Now, when did it happen with Fox though? Like I know you went to
so
Texas
I basically started in Texas, did some stuff with Geraldo, went to Richmond, Virginia, and it was funny because no one was biting on my resume tape in Texas. So I called the guy in Richmond. I'm like, yo, it looks like you have a job opening and you're a Geraldo affiliate. I'm going to be on your TV channel in about 15 minutes. You don't have to look at my tape. You can see how I do live on TV.
Yeah.
So that was a, kind of an ego thing for me
Selling
to do.
yourself. Yeah.
And then, I got to Buffalo and it was a similar thing. My boyfriend of the time was working. He was at the downtown Marriott. So I called Fox and I was like, hey, I'm going to be in town. And if you want to see me, I'd love to come over. And it was funny. So I sent my tape. They're like, yeah, you can spend 10 minutes with us, whatever. And so I don't know if you guys remember this name. Rich Noonan used to be like the nighttime anchor. And I went to this, like, every newsroom has editorial meetings in the morning and the afternoon. It's like, where the reporters pitch their stories, the anchors, the producers, the executives, they're like, we like that. We don't like that. Like, can you get an interview with Kenny? Yeah, I think I can. Yeah. That type of thing. And so I was at their editorial meeting and this Rich Noonan guy was like, well, what the heck are you doing here? And I was like, I'm here to get your job. Like just to laugh, like just as a laugh, right?
I love it. Yeah.
And, then I'm like, my armpits are sweating because I'm like, what did I just say to that guy?
Yeah.
And so they invited me, I got the job. So
do you think that charisma and that energy behind you just being that confident in your work, your craft, do you think that helped like really project you to where you are?
I do. And I don't always have it, right? Kenny and I, we've known, when I first called Kenny, I was like, hi, I'm a mom and my son could use a little confidence. Like, so I don't use it all the time, but when I have to use it, I kick it, like, I know that's right. Like Gronk is on set somewhere and they're like, you can't interview him. I'm like, watch.
This.
Yeah.
So, I like that.
So I think you have to know when to pick and choose that energy.
Yeah.
And certainly I was, when I said I'm here to steal your job, he's the male nighttime anchor.
Yeah.
So it wasn't like I did it to a girl.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't do it to a girl.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
I know what you mean.
So there's no girl on girl crime there.
Yeah, it was
like, I'm going to take my shot.
I'm here.
Yeah.
I'm here. I love it. Now, this is interesting. Were you the kid? Because we all grew up at home, in the mirror, reporting live, brought to you, it's storming outside and this is going on. Were you that kid?
No.
That's one of our favorite sponsors on Showtime Speaks. Shuyan, they offer full-service clothing and formal wear from boys to men, from tuxedos to your favorite fitted suits. Because if you look good, you feel good. And when you feel good, you play good. Come on, man. Located 1201 Buck Road, Feasterville, Pennsylvania. For your style and look ideas, follow them on Instagram, SCHWEONS. Follow him right now. Let's go.
No,
Crazy.
because again, I was told I couldn't do it. Wow. Right? So I didn't want someone to like walk in and see me doing it.
Yeah.
Because remember, now we have phones. You can do this on your phone. But
100%.
back in the day, it's like your siblings, you're in the house. Someone's always picking up the phone, right?
Yeah.
Because we didn't have cell phones.
Yeah.
And that this is like I sound like a pilgrim telling the story. But anyway, so no, I didn't do that because I've never liked the sound of my voice. It's raspy. And so it was funny, but my bedroom, the door was like the other side of the door was the living room. So I could hear the news. The news was always on.
Wow.
Morning, noon, and night. So like 60 minutes, I could hear it. And I wanted to watch that. I didn't want to watch HBO.
Yeah.
Because even then I was interested in like, how does that work? So in that way, yes, but not like, hello, flashy girl.
Yeah. Do you feel like, because I feel like watching you on TV, do you feel like you changed the game? Like when it comes to like reporting and doing what you do? Because I've never seen somebody cover the way you cover. Like, is that
energy, bro?
Like that energy, that personality,
energy
what you do and what you bring to Philly, like what does that even mean to you?
So 2 things. And by the way, you're gonna make me cry because you're so nice. So when I first got here, again, I had like the little reporter bob. I was wearing like the Ann Taylor matching suit, right, with buttons and stuff. And Sue Serio would see me and she would be like, girl, you can be you. Like, it's okay to be you. And I was like, no, I can definitely not be. And you hear my voice like a long time. I was trying to fix it. I was like getting tea. And she was like, no, your raspy voice is fine, and all that. And then, so she was just like, be you, be professional, whatever, have energy. And then in terms of the tricks that you've seen, so that evolved as the technology evolved.
Yes.
And so what happened was when we first doing like wakeboarding and stuff, the camera guy would have to drive to the edge of like a river. And they had like a PVC pipe, because you guys know the old school like live truck with the antenna up top.
Yes.
So they would drive that and then like try to put a PVC pipe out with a cable on the end of the dock. So the signal would pick up, if that makes any sense. And then, the old bike ride in Manayunk, there was a thing where like they figured out how they could plug the plug into the car and like drive as I'm riding a bike kind of behind the truck. So again, that movement part is how it evolved, but really now it's the technology. And so it's funny, like going live off the building. And I'll tell you this, a lot of the stunts, I flip out and I'm like, no, I don't think I can do it. And we've already promoted it. We told people Jenn's going to jump off a building, and we get there, and I'm like, I don't think this is not going to be for me. And then the guys are in my ear because it's a live, so half of them are like, please quit messing around. Like, they're not kind about it. Right. They're like, and then the other people are like, you could do it. So that part of it. So that's like the stunt, that's like my summer life, right? And a little bit of wakeboarding. But then in terms of like how I talk to people, I definitely talk to people the way I would like to be spoken to. So like, hey, what are you up to? Kenny, Sheet, what do you got? What's going on?
What's going on? Yeah.
And the one thing that I never do is I don't like to read a bio. I want to meet you for who you are. Like, the first time we met, I'm like, I saw your stuff on, Instagram, but like, who the hell are you? Similarly, I was like, you were doing a lot of stuff, but I'm like, but who are you? And so, because the thing with a bio or, the listening to the radio or whatever, it's like, you're getting someone else's opinion of that person.
Yes, ma'am.
And I want my own opinion of that person.
I love it.
I like that.
I love it.
So you talk about you being yourself while doing this. Like, what advice do you have for a young person trying to, follow your footsteps? We were with a football player from Malvern Prep this morning, and he's committed to Penn State. And I was telling him how Abdul Carter, who played for LaSalle, he's a big edge guy in New York. When I met him, I interviewed him at Penn State, and he was like, hello, ma'am. Yes. Well, I'm here to win the game. Like, that's not him. That can't be him. And then I saw him after, and I was like, dude, you're scaring me. He's like, that's kind of the point. So like, so maybe that was him. Like he's scary all the time. This kid today, he's going to be an edge rusher. And I was like, yo, Stick City, you could be a next whatever. And it was cute. His friends were like, he's the first him. He's not the second anyone. But anyway, he said, we're working our butts off to win this game. So I do think you can say work your butts off. I always say this about, how to be yourself or whatever, that
everyone's had their first boyfriend, girlfriend, and you meet the parents and you want to be funny, smart, but respectful. Not quite Sunday. Sunday's like for your mom, you know, but when you meet the in-laws or you want to be like, you want them to like you. So I think, you know, just being the person that you like, you got to put the brakes on just a little bit.
Sure. I love it. Now, I really want to get into the roots of you coming to Philly and truly like what that really means to you. I mean, this is a passionate, driven city, blue collar, hard nose, Broad Street, just energy. How does it feel to be in one of the biggest media outlets in the world?
So it's so great. I mean, it's awesome. And I don't take it for granted.
Yeah.
Even when we wake up at 3 a.m. on a snow day.
Yeah.
You know, when I first came here, my mom actually and my dad met in Philadelphia.
Wow.
My mom was here for a brief time and they met here. And so I'd always heard about Philadelphia. But I knew it was in the shadow of New York.
Yeah.
So when I first came here, I'm like, maybe I could get to New York.
Yeah.
Within a month, I'm like, I don't need New York.
Wow.
Like, this is it. And so in terms of being gritty, you have to be willing to hear someone say terrible things about you.
Yeah.
And you also have to be open to hearing nice things too.
Yeah.
You know, because people are going to throw stuff your way. And guess what? They're usually right. My hair did look like, you know what?
Yeah.
But when they come with love, you have to accept that. You can't just be like in the Target when people are like, hey, Jen, blah, 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 blah. And if I'm, you know, like my 3 p.m. is your midnight, right? Because I wake up so early. Yeah. But I do want that. And I'll be like, you are not getting the full Jenn Fredrick experience, but I love you because I don't want to dismiss. I want to meet them where they're entered. I want them to get me for me. Yeah. But they also have to know, like, I'm tidies. You know, I've been up all day. So in terms of like, being here and what does that mean? It's awesome. And, you know, the first real experience, you know, representing this city was years ago, 16 years ago, when the Phillies were playing in San Francisco and, you know, as part of the playoffs when they eventually won.
Oh, yeah.
And they're like, San Francisco, they're drinking wine and smoking pot, right? So they don't really get up like we do.
Yeah.
And we were up at 3 a.m. and I was doing a live shot and some old lady's like, you're so loud. And I'm like, I am Philly and this is what we do. And so, but I had Philly on my back, you know, and I recognized that like, it's okay to be who we are, you know? And I didn't say like, shove off, lady. I was like, I come in peace, but I am loud.
Yeah, 1000%.
But I do love that. And I think part of Philly that people always forget is the honesty. Yeah. Mm-hmm. You know, no one is screaming nonsense.
Yeah.
And like I said, you know this, you've played here, you've coached, all that stuff. Yeah. Like it's a wreck when they don't like you.
I'm telling you.
It is a wreck. Yeah. And I certainly at times get, again, do you call with a complaint or do you call with a complaint first, right? Yeah. I always say when you're on the airplane and they don't bring your water, you write a letter. Yep. When they bring your water, do you write a letter? No.
Yeah.
When someone's nice, write a letter. Yeah. So I do hear it and I write back all the time. And, you know, I tell them like things, you're being heard. Yeah. You suck.
Yeah. And I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Now, do you take that constructive criticism and try to go and get better?
Yes.
Or like, how do you process that information? Like for people who are walking in your shoes as a reporter, I mean, you really got to have thick how does that, like, how do you deal with that pressure of that?
Well, you know, I know that I'm hearing more from negative people than most people do, right? Yeah. And I listen to them. Like, for instance, we have this new show at noon. It's all live and we're looking at 12 cameras at the same time. So it's fast. And someone called and they're like, you're talking too fast. Blah, 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 blah. And I was like, who the hell is this person telling me how to do my... And then I was like, I talked slower the next day. Yeah. It felt better. So they were right. So to your point, like, do you listen?
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah. And then in terms of like the negative stuff is, well, first of all, in 2025, in the political climate, in everything that we're faced, I say people want to be indulged, not informed. Mm-hmm. So everyone already has their own opinion. Mm-hmm. You think you know best and you think you know best. And so if I'm saying something on TV that is the alternative of that, you think I'm wrong. Yeah. So part of what we have to do in journalism is show them why we're giving them this information, how we got it. That's why you're hearing more than ever, like sources are telling this, or, a guy inside the organization says, Sheet's got the deal. Like you hear these words more because we want people to know, like, we're not making this stuff up. So in terms of like the negative stuff, 99.9 is about my appearance. They're like, oh, you wore too much mascara today. And I'm like, dude, are you a makeup artist?
Right.
And I will say it does hurt more when it's an older person, when it's like a grandma or a grandpa, because I'm like, my grandma can't find the phone number to Fox 29.
Yeah, but you can find the
so
letters
these people found the phone number,
Right.
because it's never on an email.
Yeah.
They call.
Oh, they call.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, wow.
Again, can your grandma find the email to Fox 29 and get to me?
No.
And so that's when it like wrecks me a little bit more. Because
it becomes more personal.
But then the other side of it is I'm like, Grandma really spent the time getting me this message.
Yeah.
She looked it up. I don't know how, got her grandson to find the phone number. And so then I really have to listen.
Yeah.
But most of it's pretty good. And then it is sometimes hard to hear the good news because then it's like, in TV, everyone has such big egos.
Yes.
And I never want to be the ego guy. So I never want to be like, I did such a good job today.
Yeah. Well, the ego is everywhere. Ego is in sports. Ego is in everything. I just, like, it's so cool to hear your version of the story being on the other side of the mic. You're usually the one asking the questions. How does it feel even being asked questions right now?
Well, it's awesome. It's great to talk to you guys, particularly because I know you guys. And I guess it's like I never know what people know and what they don't know. And I always say television, phones, all this stuff, they're in our hands, they're in our lives. We don't know anything about them.
Right.
Like, do you know how to fix your TV? No, you don't. Do you? No. We don't know how the signal gets here. Now we got this, you're not getting ESPN. We don't know how that works. So it is funny, like, because it's a part of my life. When I go on TV with small businesses, they're like, how does it work? And I'm like, it works like this. So hearing you guys ask questions, it's funny. I know that in Philadelphia, people know who I am. But I never, here's an example. So, we're going to talk about it at some point, but I have kids, Brody and Landry. And, in the day, you used to go to Macy's to see Santa, right? So typically when I'm in Philadelphia, if we've been invited somewhere, we get to go into like a secret door or we get a good elevator, that kind of thing. I mean, it's not like Barack Obama stuff, right? But it's like, if we've accepted the invitation, we're getting, and I always say to them, like, you guys have to behave because you're good looking and people look at good looking kids. I didn't know how to say it anyway. But anyway, so we're like waiting in line for Santa at Macy's. And Brody's like, can we skip the line? And I'm like, bro, you're waiting in line for Santa. Like, the one thing this is the one man you have to impress in life, And that was obviously a parenting thing, but it was also like 385 people are in line and I'm going to walk my butt through there. No, because I recognize, not only do they know who I am, I want them to like me. I always say this, you meet me and you have a great, conversation, you might tell a friend or two.
100%.
You meet me and I cut in line at Santa. I'm a jerk at Target.
1,000%.
You're telling 2,200 people what a jerk I am. Right? We all do this. We're like, so-and-so was rough. We're not telling people, what a sweetheart,
good things.
Jerome Bettis is. Like, he's so sweet. But people want to hear how naughty some of these other people are.
No, 1,000%. I would love to hear about how this relationship was forged. We gotta hop into the Kenny Jenn relationship and talk about how you guys even met, how it all went down. I remember doing some stuff on Fox 29. We were doing like a workout in a field. Just talk about that experience and how you guys met.
Okay, so I don't want to give up too much of Brody's story because he's a grown up now and he'll probably listen to this, right?
Yeah,
but
for sure.
Kids are they get confidence a lot of ways. And, confidence doesn't come easy to a lot of kids. So there was this teacher, Leanne, and she was working with him, like on reading and stuff. He was in elementary school, and this is hilarious, actually. So, she was like, and she couldn't come for some reason. And I think her daughter was working with you.
Yeah, Jolie.
And
Shout out Jolie.
who's a college athlete now.
Yeah, yep.
So she was like, actually, he might be good for Brode, like get him whatever. And he does lacrosse stuff. And so I was like, all right, it was in the summer. And just so you guys know that like July, right before training camp, there's a ton of NFL guys sitting on the field with Kenny. Mm-hmm. And so I said to Brode, we were going on vacation later that day, but I wanted him to try the workout out. And I'm like, and I didn't tell him this. He only did a half hour of an hour workout. And I was like, you can go, there's like, these he trains NFL guys, like he's like the guy. Yeah. And he's so quiet. He's louder here than we've ever heard, right? Mm-hmm. So, and I was like, hey Kenny, like I got this kid. And actually Leanne actually walked him up.
Yeah, welcome to yeah.
Because I was like, I don't even want to tell this guy what's happening. And so, and I hid in the bushes.
Yeah.
And you didn't come out the first time because I told Brody he had to come or whatever.
Yeah.
So by the way, Brody comes through he sees me and he's like, Mom, so those kids, they play for the NFL? And I was like, no, because it was kids and then these old dudes.
Yeah.
He's like, but they could do all the stairs. And like Kenny would say, do the stairs, and they were doing the stairs. And I'm like, bro, you went one time. They've been doing it all summer. Yeah. And he was like, you think I could go back? And I was like, yes, he's cool. Like you could go back or whatever. And so we went on vacation. And the next day he was sore. Yeah. This is like a what, fifth grader?
Fifth grade.
Yeah. I texted him like, do you think he could come back? Because again, they were like elite. Those kids,
Julian McFadden.
Yeah, like big deal people, right?
He was in it.
Yeah.
So anyway, he just started going, and the greatest thing is that Kenny and I didn't know each other very well, but I felt really comfortable telling Kenny that like Brody needed the physical workout, but he needed the confidence stuff too.
Yeah, wow.
And you don't want to trust your kid's brain to just anyone, but instantly I was like, you've got it. And then, it was funny because then, they would work out intermittently. Uh-huh. And then in high school, Brody was playing lacrosse and there was like, am I allowed to swear on this?
You can do whatever you want.
Okay, there's this like badass coach.
You know who he is.
Sowers. And so
yeah, Mike Sowers.
Oh
man.
Yeah. So he brought Kenny in to make the team barf.
Stapes. The dad.
Dad.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Don't.
Yeah.
So he brought Kenny in to make the kids puke.
Yep.
Right? Because he was coming into a program he thought was soft.
Yeah.
Brody texted me. He's like, Kenny's here. And everyone's puking. And I don't know what to do.
Yo, I tell this story all the time. When Dave brought me in there, he's like, look, man, I don't need you to do no speed stuff, no nothing. These kids, they need that tough, just try to make them all throw up. I said, that's all. All of them in the bathroom, bro. Yo. It was crazy. But just to piggyback off Brody, it was great to see his growth. Now, like even from 5th grade to, I think I saw him probably like 3 years, right before he went to Penn State.
Yeah.
Muscles now. Like into the gym. Yeah. So like confidence up. Talking about, we ain't going to tell you what we're talking about. But talking about, girls. Like it's different. And it's cool to see like the growth of kids. And sometimes all they need is a little push.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, and again, Kenny didn't work at his school. He wasn't, except for that once or twice you work with Sowers, he wasn't really part of like the coaching staff or anything. Yeah. But like there was a time when one day Brody wasn't feeling good about himself, and I definitely was like, Kenny, can you please text Brody? Like again, you're not a therapist, you're not a whatever. And Kenny dropped everything. And I don't know what you said to him, but you made him feel good. Man. And he's always known, and that goes back to what we started with, right? You need this community. Mm-hmm. You need someone. And I do have access to people like Kenny, which is awesome. Yeah. And I've always said to him, like, you can go. Mm-hmm. We're not Kardashians. We don't live in a mansion. Yeah. But do I have money to make sure that my kids feel good, feel healthy, and surrounded by the right people? And, I've sent people to you because I'm like, they need this.
Yeah, I love it.
And that is a big part of it, right? Because both of you guys are like this. You're both like, you want to help yourself. Yeah. You're not running around being like, I am the man. Yeah. But you're also willing to help others. And it's funny because like with internships, right? Because I'm in 15 businesses a week. So I'm the internship whisperer.
Yeah.
But now that my son is of that age, so his friends are of that age, it was funny because I went to the fraternity house at Penn State. I'm like, you guys are cool. If I can totally help you, I'd love to help you. And one of the kids was like, yo, Miss Fredrick, you haven't been on LinkedIn in 4 years. And I was like, yeah, why? And he was like, well, the kid didn't live in Philly.
Yeah.
Like he didn't know. This is not a LinkedIn situation,
Yeah.
right? This is like, I'm going to call Kenny and get you an internship situation. But, because of the network, like for 10 years, people have called, hey, can you get my kid a job at like Buckman Ski Shop, right? We like that. And I'm like, yeah, I'll call over there and like get that going. And, but the other thing is that the kid, when they show up, just like Brody, he didn't quit. And so you have to make sure that if you're going to put your name out, if you're going to make the call, and you guys have both done this. You've called, you helped, you get a call 3 days later, like didn't really work out. So what's cool is to your same thing, like, and you've done this, you're like, hey, we got to like hype up this camp. I'm like, let's hype up the camp. Like, let's go. But again, because you're not good to me or Brody, you're good to everyone. And I think when we get back to Philly, that is a big part of it. Like, New York, they'll run over their grandma. But here, it's like, I can't go to your wedding, man, because I told someone I was going to play checkers with him.
No,
for sure.
I love hearing this dynamic. It really shows, the personality, the person of who you are, Kenny, the connection of what you've been building. I think that it's extremely special just to even hear like how it all works. We talk about relationships all the time. We talk about how we want to be to the community and what we're doing and what we're building, here on Showtime Speaks. I just love hearing the dynamic of how things are connected to each other. Moving on to the next thing, you have to be very fearless in your job, right? And you've probably, like we talked about it already a little bit about the pressures of what you deal with, but what are some of the things that really stand out the most that like, you touched on it a little bit. I kind of want you to go a little bit deeper into it. But what are the things that you actually really struggle with in being a journalist, being on camera all the time, being in this position to, help promote businesses? And you're doing pep rallies and doing all this stuff like that. The amount of pressure that you feel, how do you deal with that?
Well, sometimes I have been using this big word lately, compartmentalization. So I put one part of my life in a box and then I can focus on this. Like now, since September, I go out in the world and I'm in 3 locations, sometimes 4 or 5, between 6 and 10 a.m. Then I go back to the TV studio, and from noon to 1, it's all by myself in a booth. You guys should come in. And it's all this live breaking news tossed into like President Trump's press conference. He's got the Prime Minister of Hungary. I don't know how to pronounce that guy's name. The Senate, they're on this federal lockdown, whatever, shutdown of services. So I do use compartmentalization a lot, which sometimes gets me because what that means is you're not reading all the emails all the time, right? So like today, I went to Malvern Prep. I knew they had a commit. I got to know this guy's name because I'm there to see him.
Yes.
So the rest of it, your record, are you 8-1? Are you going to the, whatever comp? I just need to know that guy's name. So I do a little bit of that where I'll focus in on why are we here? And the other thing is, I got to make sure the business is a good business. Not that there's a lot of bad businesses, but there are some. And so there's been times where we put this place on TV and they've got like 32 legal liens behind them. And we didn't know. The times are rare because we do a fair amount of vetting. And certainly now with social media, when it has come up in recent years, we'll say like, hey, we're going to go talk to Sheed. And they're like, she has 37, so I get a clue. So we unwind it quicker than we could. But in terms of the pressure happens when someone doesn't want you there. So for a lot of my career, I was knocking on a door of a mom who lost a kid, or I was knocking on a door of a mom who just heard that her kid is being taken to jail for something she didn't know he was capable of. So that pressure, having that at the front part of my career and that's looking someone in the face and being at their door. It's not Twittering them or texting them. It's physically knocking on the door. That pressure was crazy. And then, even the other night we had an election. You remember there was a governor in New Jersey up for election, and I was on the air. So they wanted me to call it. How they're like, and we're projecting so-and-so's the winner. I'm like, I am not doing that. But, in my role, I have to, and again, I'll like make sure we have all the data. Somewhat, Associated Press says yes, Fox News says yes. So, but in terms of the day-to-day pressure, and then the other thing is sometimes people like the pressure for them to be on TV is too much. And so I have to kind of swoop in there and be there for them, not step on their toes.
I know what you mean.
Do you know what I mean?
I know what you mean.
So, and I see it coming, and this is you know, their whole neighborhood has told them this is going to help your bakery, and then I finally get there, and they're like, I don't know how to make eggs or whatever, you know. So I want to make sure that that pressure for me, you know.
I know what you mean.
Right? Because you want to be there for that person in that moment.
Now, is there a time, Jen, where you wake up and like, damn, I ain't feeling it today, but you still got to go in there? Or like, is it every day you wake up like, I'm blessed to do this. So I got you.
I mean, Mondays are kind of, I don't want to go on a Monday. But here's what I do know. People are expecting me. Yeah. You know, I don't call in sick to work. No. And it was funny. One time I fell on the pavement. I was running with my pregnant trainer in South Philly and I fell on my face. So it looked like I got punched in the face. Yeah. And, you know, I went home and all that stuff. And I was getting the kids from the bus and the lady was like, at the bus stop was like, oh, it looks like you earned yourself a day off. Because, you know, when you get punched in the face, it swells up. I hadn't seen it. And I was like, I'm good. I can still go to work tomorrow. Because, you know, these small businesses, if it's a bakery, if it's, you know, whatever, or a whole bunch of kids that think they're going to be on TV for school. And I was like, I texted my boss. I'm like, I think I'm going to be fine. And she's like, oh no, you like, you know, so I had to, so to your point, like there are days where I'm like, okay. And what I do on those days is, you know, Mondays, no one wants to go on Mondays. Mondays suck. And so first of all, I get to work and I have to apologize to people. I'm so sorry to make you wake up on a Monday, you know, but I know that it's 4 hours, like 6 to 10 is really, if I can get through 6 to 10, we're going to be fine. And then the other thing is, not to be cheesy, who gets to do what I get to do? You know? So I do have to, I would say it's funny. I give myself 4 bad days a year. Because everyone has to have a bad day.
For sure.
So to say that you're not having a bad day, because especially where I work in the morning, these people are waking up at 1 a.m, 2 a.m. They're overworked. They're underpaid. I mean, they're fine in case Fox is watching. But, you know, there's at least 80% of the people that are in a bad mood 100% of the time. Because they're tired. And 6 hours of live television is hard. They push through, we make it work. And then we're all kind of there for it's a passion project, right? So again, I do know that there's a lot of people who want my gig. And that, you know, when I'm making phone calls at 4 p.m, when I'm, you know, driving my kid to lacrosse practice, you know, we're talking. And I've been up since 3. And even today I was coming out here and people are like, you're driving all the way out there to see them on Friday? I'm like, they invited me.
We appreciate it.
And this is fun. This is so unique, right? But in terms of like being able to get up, you know, you want a place that you want to go. And I always say this, again, it might be cheesy. I think passion with gift is a perfect combination.
Come on now.
So I'm like, if you can do it and you want to do it, you will.
I like that.
The people who because there's a lot of people that went to law school. And I think what they want is the performance part of it. They want to be in front of the court, you know, like CSI or whatever those shows are. I don't think they want to do the 12 hours of research to get there.
That's a lot of work.
So I don't think that's working for them. You know, and then they're like, I used to be a lawyer. There's a lot of used to be a lawyer people running around, right? And you know, there's a lot of people that wish they could be doing everything you did and everything you're doing now. So I do think, you know, on snow days, those are the worst days because you're like, I am going to, or a hurricane day. At least a snow day, they can't leave you out there. You'll get frostbite. They can't. But like on a rain day, they can. And you just have to pack an extra pair of socks.
Suck it out.
No, and hope that there's wine at the house when you come home.
You a red wine person?
Oh yeah. Okay. You gotta stay warm.
Come on now. I love it. Let's hop into the next segment, and we call this the video photo segment.
Oh no.
And we're gonna dive a little deeper into, you know, who Miss Jenn is, man. I'm excited about this.
There's no party like a Jenn party.
Nice.
He know how to lean with it, rock with it.
Just talk about these experiences of being able to be with people like Gilly, to have that energy, to lead the proud, because ain't no party like a Jenn party.
Okay, so I have to say, Gilly is, you know, one of my favorite people. So I'd met him years ago with Freeway. And so Gilly was with the videos, right? And we're all watching him at work. And I'm like, I want to talk to Gilly, you know?
Yeah.
And so I literally slid into his DM and I was like, hey, we'd love to have you on the show. Would you ever think, and he was like, and he was, you know how he is. He's like, girl, let's go. And so then he like gave me my phone number, his phone number. And I was like, but you know, we're like in this, that was in Westchester.
Yeah.
And you know, he lives in New Jersey. I think he tells people that. I'm not giving away his address or anything. But he had to get in a car, drive all the way there. He had to be there at 7:00 in the morning.
Yeah.
I mean, and you saw people were so happy to see him.
Yeah.
But that was really cool. And so it's funny because then my daughter was at like a soccer practice or lacrosse practice, and some guy was like, yo, your mom knows Gilly? And she was just like, yeah, my mom knows Gilly. But, you know, that's awesome. And again, you know, he's just so good for this city and no negativity.
No energy.
Yeah. And it's fun for me sometimes because, you know, Mike and Alex are the show, right? So it was a little like, I got Gilly.
Yeah. No, I love it, yo. Like just even that dynamic, just seeing all three of y'all like work together. I got a chance to meet Holly maybe a couple of weeks ago at Rodney McLeod. He had a sneaker ball, and I was able to meet her and take a picture with her. Even Gilly, like Gilly's a huge part of, you know, what the city stands for. He really laid the blueprint out for us to have, you know, a show like this, Wallow too. So just like that energy alone is really, really special. Let's go to the next picture.
Okay.
Oh, this is a video.
Hey!
Okay, Jen.
I mean, you're leading the prowl.
Yeah.
I mean, Philadelphia Eagles, the energy. I mean, just talk about you being able to be in these spaces, going to the schools, hyping up the kids. Just talk about it.
Yeah, I love, because when I was at PW, she came.
Oh, for real?
Yeah. When I was working at PW, she came and did a whole prep rally with the kids.
Yeah.
You know, that,
It's so much fun.
Yeah.
So do we consider that a field goal?
Yes.
Because kicking is the thing I do the worst.
Yeah, no, that's
so
good.
part of it is, you know, you got an earpiece in your ear, right? You've got all these kids. And then you're like, and then I got my shirt in the front kind of down because I'm like, people can't see my tummy, you know, because I don't know how it's going to work.
Yeah.
I got the stuff on the back of me, right? And I'm listening. But the thing with the kids is just all of them need to be seen.
100%.
And so it's funny when I go to these schools, the guy with the trumpet is because I'm like, do you have a robotics club? Is there a music club?
Yeah.
Certainly we want to see the sports kids when we're there for pep rallies and stuff. But I think all these kids need to be seen. And it is funny because they're so good. And they are bold. You know, they're like, I am here to be on TV. And then some of them, you know, they can't handle the sound. And so we help them. And, you know, this is a little behind the scenes kind of TV trick. You know, there's kids where we go that don't have permission to be on TV.
Yeah.
And so the idea is that the librarian will take them to read a book or something. You know, just generalization here.
Yeah.
That sucks.
Yeah.
You've been told the TV people are here. So what we do is we are like, no, tell me who the person is. And so the camera guy, we have them stand behind and cue the pep rally.
Yeah.
We make them the co-host.
I like that.
Because again, you're going to go to lunch and all of the kindergartners got to be on TV except for Jimmy. So then Jimmy has a bigger role, right? And he gets to be a part of it. And the other thing is I want him behind the camera guy because we don't want to mess it up. Because if it is a safety thing, I'm not going to get in anyone's way with that. But the energy when we walk in and they're screaming and they don't have to go back to class, you know, and it's fun. And, you know, like Garrett Stubbs, you remember him? He's, I don't know if he's with the Phillies anymore, but anyway, you know, he comes in sometimes. Like bringing in big energy, the Savannah Bananas were like dancing with the lunch ladies at a Catholic school in South Philly.
That does so much for a community of people. Like I can't imagine like if y'all would have came to Roxborough during the time when I was there. Like that energy, it makes you feel like you are seen, you are heard, you do matter. So like that's what I really want to say it on record. Like you're not just doing things just to do it.
Nah, dead serious.
And I know you know your impact. But like, I think somebody needs to remind the person that's actually like doing it that
you're
like,
so nice.
like you're killing it. Like, and you're creating like so much hope for a lot of kids who don't feel confident, who don't feel like they're doing okay. And like now we're in a state of the world where, you know, suicide and all these different things are happening in the world. And like just by you bringing the whole team, Fox 29, you might have saved somebody's life, you know, being able to do something like that. So like, I love what you do.
Thank you.
No,
well,
seriously.
but I also speak out of turn sometimes.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm not gonna give some names because again, these are other people's stories to tell.
Yeah.
But sort of we told the story. Basically, Westchester football 10 years ago, they were undefeated. And there was a group of guys there. Haj Shabazz, one of them.
My guy.
Ronell, one of them.
That's our
Yes,
guy.
sir.
So there was a group of these guys there,
Great
right?
guys. Mhm.
And they were feeling themselves. And I was from Florida State. That's where I started. I
Come
have
on
friends
now.
in the
Yep.
in the league. I know what's up. And I said to them, "Yo, you guys got to chill."
Yeah.
And 2 or 3 of them were like, "You got to chill."
Yeah.
And I was like, "What?" And they're like, "We're from Chester. Like we didn't. No one cared about Wi-Fi because we don't have phones,
Yeah.
right?" Instantly, I was like, "Oh my God, I am your fairy godmother. I am your aunt." And so, basically what they said was, "Chick, you don't know shit about us.
Yeah.
Don't even,
Yeah.
don't bring your whatever."
Yeah.
They were polite.
Yeah.
I heard it instantly. Like
Yeah.
I didn't need a second round, right? And we stayed in touch
Yeah.
and we text.
My favorite. Look,
And I'm like, "What are you doing?"
Mm-hmm.
Haj went to Baltimore. I'm kind of cheering. Don't tell anyone.
Pittsburgh.
Pittsburgh.
yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I knew it was an AFC team.
Yeah.
But that's the thing. Like there are moments where I know that I'm touching someone.
Yeah.
And certainly I didn't put his cleats on and get him to the
1000%,
practice or whatever.
1000%.
But I definitely like root for kids.
Yeah.
There's this other kid. He was like on the beach. He was in 6th grade, 5th grade. And I can say this. He was like a little chubby kid from Delco. And it was 6 o'clock in the morning. And I was like, "Hey, do you play sports?" And he's like, "No." Because he was a bigger kid.
Yeah.
I'm like, "What do you do?" He's like, "I sing." And I go, "You sing?" He goes, "Yeah." I'm like, "Okay, let's sing." And we sang Andy Grammer. "Oh no, honey." Remember that song? And then at the end, I'm like, "Where's your mom?" He goes, "I don't know." And so I got a call from work because we don't put kids on TV without knowing where their moms are, right?
Yeah.
But it was 6 o'clock in the morning. So that kid, his name's Andrew McCarthy. I followed along. And, he didn't start in a 4-year school. And I was for college. I'm like, "Dude, what are you doing?" And I think he would tell you, I think his parents would tell you that I kicked him in the butt. And I was like, "I'm going to check in. I like you. I care about you." He's about the same age as my son. And my son's always like, "Who is this kid?" But they're, again, with the internships and the opportunities, like, look, this guy can say stuff to Brody that I can't. He's not going to listen to his mom.
1000%.
So I know a kid like Andrew McCarthy's not going to listen to his mom.
Yeah.
TV lady can say great stuff. And he'll listen and he'll go to class and he'll do it.
1000%. I love it. Let's transition to, some of these infamous people that you've met. And this first one, he is unretired.
I love him.
He's unretired.
That's
This
his twin.
Yes.
Twin, the brother, the big bro. Just talk about this experience. Talk about how you feel. Talk about how you feel about him unretiring.
First of all, I'm so excited. And I'm dying to know why he was able to pull it off and Jason wasn't, Kelsey. It's funny though, because you see him going to a lot of the sports stuff and stuff for his kids. And I'm like, I hope he's still fitting that in.
Yeah.
So he is the person I would like to be.
Yeah.
He's smiley, but the
all the
trash
time.
talk is
Yeah.
crazy.
He
Like,
talks that talk.
he talks that talk.
Talk that talk.
And you know what's funny about that picture? Basically what happened, that was when the Phillies were in the playoffs 2 years ago.
Yeah.
And my t-shirt says Charlie for Charlie. Charlie Manuel's on that trolley.
Yeah.
And so Brandon, BG, had a clothing line that he was starting. And he wanted to get me a shirt.
Yeah.
And so I pulled up at NovaCare in a trolley. And, I don't have my press credential, but it's live on TV. And I said, "Could someone call Brandon?" And they did.
Yeah.
He came out of practice. You know those morning, their
No, I
treatments,
know,
the meeting, the
yeah,
coaches. That tells
that-
you everything you
he's
need.
that kind of guy.
And so, and he knew who Charlie Manuel was. He's a Detroit guy, Michigan kid. Brandon. He knows who this guy is, and it was really fun. But I think that Brandon Graham, it didn't start well for him in the city.
Yeah.
And I still have the name of his then agent in my phone. And he'd be like, "Can we get Brandon on TV?" I'm like, "Yeah, if he's going to show up."
Yeah.
There's players, they're holding camp.
Yeah.
They don't show up.
No, 1000%.
And so
he's one of those guys.
he's always shown up.
No, he's one of those guys, man. Like he's been a tremendous, mentor, big bro. During that time when I was there, he would always check in on me. I would come to the games. he played a huge role in, yo, she just stay with it, keep going, like keep doing what you're doing. At some point, it's going to hit. Look at us now. We doing some special things, and just extremely happy to see him come out of retirement, bro. Keep going, lead them boys to a Super Bowl.
And they're going to do that tush push.
Come on
I don't know
now.
when this is going to be on, but they're going to tush push in Green Bay, and he's going to be like,
clip it.
Yeah.
Let's fast forward. Let's go to the next guy who this guy is a movie star. I mean, I feel like I'm a movie guy.
Oh yeah.
And
Okay,
Mr.
I got
Mark,
a good story on this one.
This is iconic right here.
Okay, so Mark Wahlberg.
Yeah.
So all roads lead back to Brody here.
Mm-hmm.
So when I was in the hospital having Brody, Mark was here with Matt Cord. He's the announcer for the Sixers.
Yeah.
Matt Cord calls me and he said, you want to go golfing with Mark Wahlberg? I'm like, they just cut a baby out of me.
Listen, I'm coming.
I mean, no. I was like, no. They just there's I'm in the bed. Like the baby just got out.
Yeah.
And they're like, no. So then fast forward, he was doing a junket for a movie. And I didn't realize that the people on Entourage are real people that are still with him.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So I'm, again, on brand, being loud. This guy comes out. He's like, you're going to have to be quiet. And I'm like, what? And he goes, I'm E. And I'm like, what's an E? And everyone's seen the show. You guys know who E is, right? Yeah. So, because I'm used to like a PA, a director. Yeah. I'm like, you're E? And I'm like, where's this guy? Where's this guy? And Turtle. Okay. And I'm like, where's Turtle? And he goes, oh, Donkey. Yeah, he passed away. And I was like, what? And it was a long story. But anyway, at that moment, they let me in to see Mark. Wow, that's the first time I've met him. And I'm like, okay, a couple of things. I'm sorry about Donkey. And also, I was supposed to golf with you guys. And it was just so much fun after that. And so E, who works with him quite a bit, he's come in and out. And so every time we see him, he loves Philly. Yeah. And you know who he loves? Vince Papale.
Yeah, 1,000%. They did the movie.
Yeah. So it's funny, if he's ever, there's been times if there's a big group of people, like the Super Bowl in New York City, all the celebrities were there. Mm-hmm. And I was like, Vince Papale. And he'll look at me, oh, Philly. Like, he definitely is we see him a lot. And you know what else? He's good to his people. Yeah. He's good to the camera people around him. He's just good to everyone.
Yeah. I love it. Let's go to the next thing. I think the next thing, this is a sport that's growing. Yes. Pickleball. I mean, like it's plaguing the streets. People are opening up their own facilities. They got it in Lifetime. They got it everywhere.
Okay.
Just talk about
play? Like you?
No.
No.
So, okay, that's Jason Avant and Connor Barwin. Both guys played professional football. I don't know where Connor went to college, but I know Jason went to Michigan. So this is like a pickleball tournament, and I was paired with Jason. Yeah. I am not a D1 athlete. So he's treating it like a D1 athlete would. He's like, Jen, in the alley, we're going to practice because I don't know how to do this, blah, 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 blah. Yeah. And so we play the first round, and neither one of us really know what we're doing. And then the second round, we're watching, and there's this girl that's just killing it. I'm like, excuse me, do you know how to play pickleball? And she's like, yeah, I played D1 pickleball and tennis at UVA. And I was like, hey, could you come over here and teach us how to play pickleball? Yeah. And she did. That's crazy. And he spoke to her and she spoke to him the language you guys speak, which is athlete speak. Meaning he was like, she was like, you got to go low to high. Mm-hmm. Like us non-athletes, we don't. But I mean, I understood it. But the fact that it was like a D1 athlete to D1 athlete, and then, as we were going through rounds, people would come up, like old heads that like thinking they're going to take us. Yeah. And Jason would be like, they have no athletic stance, Jen. You have got this. But then, he's like, he's like ripped. Yeah. So he's still ripped. Yeah. I'm sweating. He's not even sweating. It was a hot sun, but it was really fun.
That's what's up. I love it. Let's go on to the next. The next thing is really, really special. It's, as we get deeper into it, the two people that mean the most to you in your life. Yes. Just talk about your relationship with your kids and really what they mean to you.
So that's Brody. Yeah. And that's Landry. And they both make me proud in different ways. Yeah. Brody we talked about it. Like he he knows he's got ADHD, tough for him to take a test. And he's crushing it. You know, he's in his 3rd year at Penn State. He got Dean's List last year. He texted me this morning, got an 85 on a big test. It was cool. So like his thing is, you know, he wants to be the best version of himself. And he knows he has to work on it, right? Which is, I don't know. We don't really get deep like that. You know, when I try to talk to him like that, he's like, I don't want to talk about that. Where Landry, you know, she is naturally gifted academically. So she has to study, but when she studies, she can take a test. You know, she can do any sport that she wants. She really loves dance right now, even though I would wish she would play more lacrosse. So she's got her thing is balance that she has to work on, and balance between, you know, she's a girl. So teenager girl friendships are different. Like boys don't have to worry about that. I'm your friend. I'm not your friend. That's it. So she works on that. And then she also works on balancing where she's headed. You know, Brody and I talk more like, he'll ask for advice. Where Landry is like, I'm doing this. You know, and so that, like, cause she wants to be an architect. So she's like, I'm going to be an architect. But both, and it's interesting, like Brody will go to dinner with me and we can talk. Landry does not want to be in dinner. She doesn't want to sit there. She wants the food quick.
And be out.
She'd rather be in a car, talking in a car. So it's kind of like, how do you talk to each person? But both of them, they give me everything, but I also don't let them slide. You know, like when they're in trouble, they're in trouble.
I can see that. I love it. How do you balance career and family? Like,
well, you know what's always been great is certainly when they were babies, I was sleeping a third of their day. I'm sorry, they were sleeping a third of my work day. So like I'd go to work at 4, babies don't get up till 8, you know, or 7 or whatever. So that was good. And I've always been home to be there after school. I actually just signed a contract to be there to the end of Landry's high school.
Oh, nice.
And that was a big, I wanted to like, I switched high schools a lot. I didn't want them to have to do that for me. And so, yeah, the bad news for them, I'm around. You want to throw a party? I'm around.
For sure.
I love it. I love it. Let's move on to the next thing. Just special, just being able to like really just talk about your family. This next picture, you know, the guy who means the most to you. Your dad.
That's him.
Your dad.
I love him.
Just talk about your relationship with your dad, and you know he doesn't live here, correct?
No, he lives in Florida.
Him living in Florida. How do you deal with, you know, just being here and him being down there? And
you know, it's funny. Again, he sold nuclear power plants for a living. So for the first part of my career, he was like, I don't know what you're doing. I don't know how you're going to get paid. And now, you know, he can watch because the internet and everything, and he'll be like, you're having fun. I don't think I had that much fun. And then the other thing is, you know, in my family, he's who I'm closest to. I'm not really close to my siblings, and I'm not really close to my mom. So he's kind of it. And which, you know, sucks, obviously. But he loves it. And he loves Philly. And he loves my kids. And it's funny, like he's got a dog now. So, you know, we used to go on a lot of vacations before I had kids. When I told him I was pregnant with Brody, he was like, why would you mess that up? We don't need a kid. And then the second Brody was born, don't mess him up. Don't hurt him, you know? And then I told him I was pregnant with a girl. Why would you have a girl? They're not even any fun. We can't do anything with a girl. And of course, you know, he really loves both of them. So, but he's just really fun. You know, we drink a lot of wine together and he's interested in what I'm interested in, which is really cool. And again, you know, he's known me since before I was on TV, you know, so he knows that I like to go barefoot shopping in Publix in Florida, you know, which is not super cute. But my relationship with him is awesome. He's going through a little bit of dementia, which sucks. He's still, you know, drives, knows who everyone is, and that, you know, so I'm definitely trying to get him some kind of vitamin to keep him with us.
For sure.
That's truly special to have that relationship. And, you know, relationship is hard, you know, family is hard. You know, I'm trying to battle my battles with my family, and trying to keep things close. And there are certain people that I don't talk to, and I'm still trying to, but I'm on that journey of self-discovery and really finding myself. Got a chance to hang with my dad and Kenny last night. We broke bread, we ate food together. Cool. So just hearing you talk about your pops, it's extremely special. As we come to a close, we always love to end every show with the Keep Going segment. And it's basically where you describe a time in your life where, you really had to pick it all back up, where it was, you felt like it was over and you found a way to make it through. Just talk about that time.
You want an hour and a half more to go? No, I'm kidding.
Let's do it.
No, there's been a lot of times, I've made mistakes on TV and I've had to apologize for them and face them, that type of thing. Which again would take you for whatever. I think the biggest thing was, again, I'm not really close with my mom, so I didn't really have anywhere to go over the summers in college because my dad was overseas. And so there was one time I got fired from my summer long nanny job. Wasn't my fault. And I had to sleep in a car that night with all my stuff, my college stuff. And I was trying to figure out where am I headed? Am I going to go, whose couch am I headed to? Right. And so I really just woke up the next morning, and the person in my life at that time who I knew would root for me no matter what, I drove there. And when I got there, they were like, I thought you had a job all summer, And so they didn't ask any other questions other than that. And so I knew that if that person was going to root for me and be there for me, and I had somewhere to go, then I was going to be fine. And then I just kept going. I applied for a job and had it. I do think whatever the biggest thing is that's a hurdle, my sister passed away. My brother was in federal prison for quite a long time. Those phone calls are really hard to hear. And I do think that on the hardest day, you get the worst phone call, you are going to wake up the next day. And you have to root for yourself. And if you can root for yourself, everything's going to be okay.
I love it. This is Jenn Fred. This is extremely special to have you on the show. For people to hear you,
Thank you.
And it not just be you asking the questions. I think that it's important to hear from the person who is behind the mic, because sometimes the person behind the mic needs to be heard too. And
you guys did a great job.
This is because
I feel seen, but I don't feel invaded.
And this is what Showtime Speaks is.
Yeah.
It truly is meant to give people that platform to just speak freely. It's not meant to try to get you to say something that you don't want to say. And just for you to even take the time to come up here and give us that time.
I love it.
This is definitely special. If you stuck around for this episode, remember, subscribe, follow the YouTube page, and you already know it's always going to be Showtime Speaks.
Woo-hoo.
What's the matter with you? There is no tomorrow. There is no tomorrow.